All right, Ferrell comedy is the time right now for Sheamus to become your Intercontinental Champion. It's going to happen inevitably. Is the time Saturday night's main event?
I wish, but no. I think we need more bumps in the road.
All right, so this will probably be at least his third or fourth Intercontinental title match since 2020. Bash in Berlin, SmackDown that I went to in Worcester on the season premiere in 2022. And then I know he at least had the Survivor Series match. And I think he had another one before that with Breakker with Breakker. So there's
And the
been,
triple threat with Drew and
oh my
Gunther.
God. Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah. So that's about 4 or 5. And I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a big enough deal for it to happen right now. But I'm sick of them to kind of wasting these Sheamus Breakker matches because they could and should be special and they feel big. But I don't know. The more times that they happen, the less bigger they feel, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to the well again, and they're great. I'm glad I enjoy them. But the turnaround on this one just doesn't feel like it's been built enough for this to be the moment. It might not even be for a while. I mean, Sheamus just signed that long-term
A
contract.
5 year deal. Crazy.
And what other story is there for Sheamus?
I don't know. I can feel like he could have like another bar type tag team, not with Cesaro, but with someone else. I feel that he could be a contender for the WWE or World Heavyweight title and just come up close. But I feel like all that could happen after this Intercontinental title run.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the one goal for him to achieve. You can throw him in a team or give him the one-off, like at a Saturday night's main event. I think Sheamus is a good, quick turnaround world title contender. But to win it and complete the set that he's been going for, it feels like just, hey, 2 weeks from now it's happening, and then that's the end of it, of the build, kind of. This doesn't seem enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's play the game. You have the Rumble the next week. So let's get the title off Breakker, and then maybe he's like a low-key favorite to win the Rumble because the upper card is so strong that they don't need titles in a rising star like Breakker. Let's accelerate them through this Intercontinental title run and get them like as a Gunther challenger for a WrestleMania to start their trilogy in the mid. Like we can put it on the mid card or the upper mid card at this year's WrestleMania, but it can main event future WrestleManias like that. Like, is that like a low key plan that we don't see?
I mean, I think we don't see it because it's too early for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of guys that I think if Breakker wins the Rumble with all the guys that are available to win it, it would almost seem disappointing, and you'd be afraid that people would turn against him. They're going to have people are going to be emotionally
too,
invested.
like, what a way to make a guy, though, right?
Huh?
What a way to make a guy, though, right?
And it would. It's reminiscent of what JT's always saying about Scott Steiner in
93, 94?
I think they saying like should just hot shotted it to him. I can't remember whatever year he's always talking about. It would. I mean,
well, that was like a Pritchard push or whatever, and he just runs with it. But yeah, I know it would have worked out. Like, but that roster in '93 in the new gen,
it's not this roster.
It's not this roster right now. Not so ever. But really, if you think about it, like, fuck, it could be like a Lesnar type of push. Like Lesnar's debuting with Hogan around, Taker at his peak, Triple H, The Rock, fucking Mysterio coming in, Angle at the height of his power, Benoit, Eddie. He's got all these dudes around him, and they still pushed him. And look, it was still the right decision. I think Breakker will get there one day.
Right, but then it didn't feel as out of nowhere as this would, at least to me. Like, I mean, yeah, he was the guy with the rocket, but he had spent a year killing everyone. Breakker's kind of lost a couple times and then like learns and adjusts. So maybe you have him learn and adjust.
He's a more of an organic rise where Lesnar was the next big thing, right? So there's definitely different journeys across a path to get to the main event. I don't know. I just said, if we took a step back next week at this time and we were doing our Royal Rumble preview and Breakker came up, well, he just dropped the IC title to Sheamus. Is it because he's going to win the Rumble? That's all. That's all I'm looking at here. And then before that, I was looking at the Sheamus side of things to coincide with me saying that how many times is he going to lose this thing before he wins this thing? Like, I get it, but I prefer it to happen not as much as it does. And it felt like a bigger deal against a Gunther, not against the Breakker.
Yeah, and they may go away from it here. This might be the end of this story. I mean, like we said, with this long contract, they might revisit this in a year, 2 years. You know, you can do it in one of their European next time they go to the UK, and it's a huge deal, and you can main event the show with it, you know, or at a Mania, and it's like a midnight, not midnight as in 12 p.m., but like middle of the card. You know, the high spot in the middle. There's lots of options. It doesn't have to be here. I mean, with this quick turnaround with Rumble right there, I feel like it almost gets your attention immediately goes to the Rumble. It's not on Sheamus in the IC, and it kind of dampens the moment for him. I mean, had he not had this contract, I'd say maybe it is, but for 5 years, just him just putting around, I think you needed this carrot for him.
I think this is the safest bet to be the best match on the card. I'm just going to go flat out and say that. I think Uso and Gunther, I think these guys will open. I think, well, Cody might open with KO, but I think this is like your first match. And, man, I think that these guys can rock and roll like in a 3-segment match, really, and just be hard-hitting, brutal. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to the Sheamus Gunther level, but man, I think that it has a chance to get up there. The TV breaks are going to hurt it, but still, I think it's going to be awesome.
And I think the earlier this is, the better the match is going to be.
Yeah, great call.
Because they don't have to worry about getting it cut if things are running long. So the earlier this is, the better. If it's coming in before Gunther Jay, they might trim a little bit, and it's not going to be what we want it to be.
All right, so you say not yet, but down the 5-year road for Sheamus. When?
Hopefully not 5 years, but yeah.
Well, that's what his contract is. But
right,
when for Sheamus? When?
The next time they do a PLE in the United Kingdom, it. I think that's. I think they're going to do a lot of those overseas shows, so there's lots of opportunity. If they don't do one here in 2025, I think 2026, I'm sure they'll be back on the island. And I think it just makes it a special night if you do it that way.
Yeah, it can main event. It can be presented great. And I don't mad that. I just don't see Breakker being the champion then. I'm curious who they would have as champion for that. I kind of want him to overcome. I like this like grizzled vet underdog Sheamus. I like him in this babyface role. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind him overcoming like a big monstrous heel like a Gunther, even though Gunther's not going to be IC champ again, but something like that, like a Bronson Reed, even maybe someone like that would be. I think Sheamus it's just weird. He's getting older and longer in the tooth, and he's just getting more compelling in the ring.
Yeah, the longer he's around, the more I like him. He's crazy, like right? He's like reverse Bob Holly, like been around forever and just keeps getting better.
Similar styles, but a little bit more polished and better.
Yeah, I mean,
Bob Holly's kind of a velocity legend. Let's not shit on him here, buddy. I know that's our lane.
Well, I'm currently where in my velocity and heat reviews, Bob's out with his broken neck, so.
Oh, he's due back soon, brother. Don't you worry. You can get some Alabama slams in your near future.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Mix it in with some Kidmans and Spike Dudleys and Steven Richards. Let's go do it.
This is the most. This match here on the card is the most vulnerable for an upset. Like not an upset or for a surprise. And Sheamus winning it would be that surprise. I'm gonna go 20%.
20% that Sheamus wins.
Yeah,
I would go higher. I would give it 35, 40.
Well, that's almost 50-50.
It is. I mean, I don't think it's here, but I mean,
the highest I would go is a quarter, like 25%.
I think it's like you said, he's got a better chance than any of the other underdogs on the card.
It's just gonna be awesome. I hope the structure doesn't get in the way for it to be a banger after banger after banger. I feel like so young in the Saturday Night Main Event reboot. I think this is going to be the standard of the match to meet and to be so far. I think this has a chance to be fucking awesome. And we didn't get an awesome match last time on Saturday Night.
No,
No. And I feel like
there's fun stuff, but
we can
not a
legit get to 4 stars with this match.
yeah.
Here.
It's hard with the format.
It is,
I mean,
but I feel like
5-segment, 2-hour.
the hard hittingness, they can transition in and out with the breaks, with the hard hittingness to be just okay, right?
Yeah,
Shave a little commercials here, make it work.
If they cut down on like the hey, people who haven't watched in forever, then you could. But if it's still going to be like it was,
I think they are though. Yeah,
last Saturday night, I don't know if they'll have the time to do that.
4 matches in one goofy contract signing segment is the perfect recipe. It felt like we were one match too much last time. We needed a little bit more gaga, a little bit more backstage bullshit. But we're going to get the in-ring action here. 25% Sheamus wins this, 75% Bron Breakker. And I think Breakker retains. What's your final? I'm making you do math here at the end of this.
All right, I'll go all the way up to 35, but I wouldn't bet the house on it.
All right, now quick math. What's the other side of it? 35 and
65.
All right, you pass math class for we with working with the pipe fitting. We do a lot of fractions to percentages, and you pass with flying colors. So,
well, thank you. I do teach math, so I'd be shocked. I would be very shamed.
He's more than a comedian, guys. He's more than a comedian. He's a mathematician.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
But check him out, Ferrell Comedy. Thanks, Matt, for jumping on. That was fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan.